Hey, everybody. I need y'all praying tonight because if I tell you technical difficulties, as you can see, it's a totally different place tonight, but we're going to keep it moving. I guess the devil is busy, and I'm just not going to let him have the victory because I want to talk about my friend and have her daughters talk about her. So I'm not going to let the devil win this one. I'm just telling y'all right now. But if I freeze, they gonna keep on talking. Cause I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, y'all. I don't know what's going on. But talk about her. See, look at that. But we're gonna make it happen. We are going to make it happen just because I want to, and she deserves. So, for all of y'all who have been listening to me all this time, okay, y'all, this is a 1 year.
Set up yet? To get started, download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
Y'all, see, another something's coming on over here. You know what, devil? I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 2 seconds. I don't know what that is talking. Oh Lord, don't break the phone. Okay, we just unplugged that. See, we got too many devices here. But anyway, this is our 1 year anniversary of the first show that we did. And as you all know, I was having technical difficulties then, but it was because I didn't know what I was doing. This time, I don't know what's going on. But nonetheless, I started this back in COVID, when COVID was going on and people were saying, what should I do with my time? And God kind of convicted me and said, okay, oh no, it was people would say, I want to do this. And it's like, okay, if you don't do it now, there'll be no time to do it because you have plenty of time now. And so with that, I was convicted that this was something I've been wanting to do for a long time. My first bachelor's degree is in journalism. So I like to write, read, and all of that and talk a little bit. But I have been moved around the nation, and it was always, okay, God, what, why, all of that. And so I thought about, I knew so many cool people that had so many interesting stories. And so that's how this evolved, that I wanted to tell the stories or interview people so they could tell their stories about different things. And in these things, you could see how God had helped them. And if God could help them through the different things, I know that, he could help all of us. I've been encouraged. I've learned things. I've been inspired about things. And I learned things about people I didn't even know. We've had a show on, I wrote some of the things down. We've had, I guess, shows on COVID, of course. We've had a show on police brutality, and then a show with the Black police officer talking about his time here in Dallas. We've had a show on lupus. We've had a show on twins, which was kind of cute because the twins were just excited to get to know about the other set of twins. And that was like, oh, I thought y'all were all the same. So that was kind of cool. We talked to the graduates of 2020 since they were the first ones who were, had to sit out of school or do school virtual in high school. And we talked to them again recently. They are in their second year. They're going into their second year in college. We talked to some teachers who talked about how difficult it was. And some of those teachers even had children. So they not only had to be a teacher, they had to take care of their own children. We had one that we just prayed for everybody. It was getting really bad. And we had, I think it was about 6 people on praying. We've talked about Black love. We've had some incredible people on. We've talked about voting. We registered people to vote. We've had some cool young people on, Shannon Lewis, who she's gotten every scholarship in the world and is now she graduated from high school, I think, with an associate degree, and she's going on into college. We had Miss Etiquette on, my Sarah Elisa Allison, who will have to come back on at some point. We've had a couple of people who are writing books, and we were waiting for them. Some who have already written books, and we've just had a wide spectrum. Congresswoman Lauren Underwood, the youngest congresswoman in Congress, or was. I'm not sure after this election. But we've had a lot of people. Most of them are my friends or family. But others are people who I've met. For some of you know that I've gotten addicted to Clubhouse, and I've met some really cool people on there. I think the last two shows, one was about, making a difference after you've been incarcerated last week. And then another one was Mr. Antonio, who had autism, and he's just doing incredible things. I was listening to something he was doing today, and it was just like, man, you are just awesome. And so we've had some pretty cool guests. So I've had a year. I think I'm gonna keep on going because there's just a lot of cool people that I know who haven't been on to tell their story yet. And soon it may be you. Okay, you know who I'm talking to. You know who I'm talking to. No, it could be anyone, because we all have wonderful stories. I believe God gives us experiences for us to share. They're not, the experiences seem so personal, but in his divine plan, he has somebody who needs to hear your story. And if you don't give your story, then that person that he wanted to hear it is going to have to hear it from someone else, because God's going to do what he's going to do. And you don't want him using rocks to cry out when you should be telling your story. I'm just saying. So for y'all who have been with me the whole time, I want to say thank you. And yeah, my sisters, my cousins, my friends, all of those people, thank you. And tonight is not, going to be any different. At one time I was thinking about doing a run of all the shows, but I may do that another time. Tonight I'm honored because I get to talk about somebody who who I had the fortune to meet in my life. And I mean that sincerely, because she came in my life at a time. Some of y'all know that I moved from Texas, where I'd been all my life, to Chicago. And well, this was Oak Park, Illinois, but it's Chicago. Okay. And it was interesting for me because I left a job that I had been on for a long time, and didn't realize how much your job becomes your identity. And especially the way I do it, because I love my employees, and they're just special to me. And so leaving that job and moving to another place that I had visited, yes, but never lived, was quite interesting. But the friendly face of this lady, one of my sheroes, man, I walked into they call them villages up there, but to the village, and she just walked up to me and said, "Can I help you?" And that was the last thing I know. I was hooked after then. I was following Sherylnn Reed all around Oak Park. Everything Sherylnn did, I was going to do. I was right behind. She had me doing stuff that I had never heard of, but I was right behind her. So tonight, her three daughters are going to come on. One is on now, and the others will be coming on later. But I want to talk about Sherylnn Reed. And if you saw the advertisement for this, you would have seen her. And we were like birthday twins, because hers was on the 4th and mine was on the 7th of November. And so we celebrated sometimes when we had birthdays together. But it was just cool because we were like, oh, we kind of understand each other. And yeah, she was older than me, but we still had a good time. And I just impeded on the daughter's territory. So I'm bringing on one. Now let's see, Mary, where are you in the? You laughing at me? Hey, Mary, where
I'm
are you?
listening to you. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been in
And,
Cincinnati.
go ahead.
I've been in Cincinnati since '87, but then I come home to go to law school. Were you still there when I came home to go to
Yeah,
law
I
school?
was jealous. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
jealous.
right.
I'm a
Because you want to still go
yeah.
to law school. So
Yeah,
and
I've
then
taken
I
my
moved,
LSAT like 3 or 4 times and moved, so I never got to. Okay.
and then I went back to, and then I moved back here to Cincinnati. So yeah, when I came there, you and mommy were already tight friends.
Yeah. I knew Dorothy more than either you or Laurie because she was there, and then when she was running for, I think, senator or state representative or something.
State representative.
Yeah. So, where are you in the? Are you oldest, youngest, or in the middle?
I'm the oldest.
Oh,
but when they get on, Dorothy's the oldest. Yeah. And we don't know, and Lori's adopted when they get on. Just so you know.
Okay. That's what they get for not coming on early, right? Okay. Right. Okay. So, oh Lord, let's see. Where do I start with Sherylnn Reed? Oh my God. She was, it's just so many jokes and stuff we had because we used to tell white people that she was only she was the only black person they knew in they'd say they were diverse, but she was the only black person they knew in
Oak Park.
Oak Park. Okay, here comes the what'd you say?
The oldest.
Is that the old? No, that's Laurie.
Oh yeah, she's adopted.
Oh yeah. This is a daughter that's adopted.
I am not adopted. I am the youngest.
She came along and they didn't know she was coming. Is that what?
There's 5 years between us.
The most famous of them all. I've been in Jet magazine.
Ooh. I've been in the newspaper. We've all been in the newspaper.
We've been in the newspaper, but you've never been in Jet magazine.
I can't say that. You're right. You got me.
Yeah, and you have those. Well, y'all all both have handsome boy. Well, one handsome boy and then 2 handsome boys. And I can't even see them anymore. See, I used to run.
Ryan.
Yeah. But I used to run Isaiah around, I think. Is he the youngest?
Yeah, Isaiah's the youngest.
Yeah. That's the one I used to bother all the time.
Right.
I can't bother them now. I saw how big they are, so I can't.
Yeah.
And Laurie, I have to apologize for not knowing how to spell your name. That's why I couldn't tag you on Facebook.
That's all right.
So I gave a public apology. So
that's okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know where the old woman is. Where the old woman at? Look.
She was coming. She was trying to get connected. So
okay.
She should be here soon.
Because I have had my issues.
We've already had trouble. She's already had troubles with the internet most of the morning.
These gremlins bugging me, so I don't know what.
Well, I am in what it looks like to be a closet because that is closest to my Wi-Fi.
We're all having issues.
Yes, we're all having issues. So I chose to sit as close to the Wi-Fi as possible.
Look, and your mom is up there laughing at all of us. These girls, why did?
Well, mommy wouldn't even have been able to get on. So
right.
We're good. We're good.
Well,
I remember. I can tell you my mother's story about being on a computer, and I would come, and she would call me and say, "I can't find my file," and I'd come over and I'd look at her computer, and she had fallen asleep with the mouse and dragged it someplace else. And I'm like, okay, Mom, you have moved it and combined it with something else. I will uncombine it for you and put it back on the screen where you had it.
No, you didn't tell her like that. You didn't tell her like that. You have to be nice to my friend.
Well, I had
Look,
to come all the way over because at that time, we didn't have cell phones, and we had cell phones, but we didn't have FaceTime or anything like that. So
right.
she
Yeah.
would call me on the landline and try to explain where her file was or what she was doing, or she would say, I don't know, I just can't find it. So I'd come over and help her with it. And naturally, one of the things that she would have hidden was solitaire, because that was
Right.
her favorite, was to play solitaire for like an
That's
hour
all
before
I
she
play.
went to bed.
That's all. See, that's right. We connected. That's all I play on my phone for solitaire. I probably got 3 different kinds of solitaire on there. That's all. It keeps your mind sharp. Okay.
It does.
It
I
did.
so
It did.
agree. I so agree.
So
agree.
that's okay, Sherylnn. That's what I play too. I just play it on my phone now instead of on the
Right.
thing. Right. So y'all's parents were, I'd say, historic. Sherylnn told stories after stories relative to being in Oak Park, and I'll just let the audience know Oak Park is this diverse community in the west. It's the nearest western suburb of
Right.
Chicago.
It borders the west side of Chicago.
Right. You cross over to Austin and you
cross.
You cross.
You in Chicago.
Go across the street and you're in Chicago.
You in the Wild Wild West.
But Oak Park, the village of Oak Park prides itself on being a planned community and a diverse community. What part did your mom then play in the diverse part?
So to give a little bit more background, in 1968, that was when they were doing the fair housing laws and things like that across the whole nation. And so the village of Oak Park decided that they would be an inclusive community because they didn't want Oak Park to brown, which means, turn all Black people moving in there, as was happening in a lot of communities across the nation. So Oak Park set up certain rules. So there was no more redlining, and redlining is where the realtors can kind of steer people to buy housing in a particular area. So Oak Park was working with a group of people to try to make sure that didn't happen. They got buy-in from the realtors not to have housing signs, for sale signs, so that white people would know that Black people were moving in, and those kinds of things. So that's the context for the world in 1968. My parents were living in Detroit, and my dad was a social worker already, and was looking for a job, and was brought here by Jim McClure to work at the settlement house in Chicago. So he was moving from Detroit here to work at a settlement house. And so they looked at Oak Park as a place to buy. And my dad decided to purchase where his money could buy. And that happened to be Oak Park. And then they were able, at that time, Oak Park was trying to figure out how they could have Black people buy with a conventional loan without any backing from a white person, or not have it be a FHA loan, which is, a government funded loan. So my parents were the first African-American family to buy their house with a conventional loan without any other backing from a white person in the community. So that's their number one claim to fame, in Oak Park.
Yeah. And one of those regulations that I still tell people about it, I don't know if it's still there on the books, but when we bought in Oak Park, it's an Oak Cliff here, I'm trying to get it together. We bought in Oak Park, right there on 116 South Ridgeland. They told us that when we sold, if we didn't get what we purchased it for, that they would reimburse or give us. And I was like, wow. And I still talk about that today. People don't believe, that, because and as Sherylnn explained, they were trying to prove that just because Black people live next
Moved
door,
in, yes.
the property was going to go down, you know.
Right. And they
Well-
wanted to maintain the property value. The other part about it, the other thing that my mom ended up doing, like there was a group that I forget what the group was called, the Human Relations Commission. They started a Human Relations Commission, which looked at like people's issues around race and issues around like neighborhood issues. And so one of the things that they wanted to do was the reason my mom ended up having the community relations department ended up forming was because the village manager at the time wanted to make sure those concepts went throughout the whole village. And so that all the organizations in the village would take care of the whole village the same way.
Yeah.
So where some communities, you know, where if Blacks move in on one side, all of a sudden the water doesn't work down over there, or the garbage isn't picked up on a regular basis over there, or so the community like disintegrates on its own, and not only because Black people are there, but because the village or the management decides not to put their resources in there. You know, the cops don't go down there as often or something like that. So wanted that to be like all around the community.
Yeah.
And she also stressed to the village that you all are talking about diversity while at the same time there is nobody diverse on your staff.
Yeah.
And that's when she brought that up, and they quickly pulled her in and hired her as a community worker. And then when the gentleman
Chris
that
Rano.
was the direct, Chris Rano, when he retired, he suggested that she be the person to lead the department because she was the leading, driver of all of this.
Yeah, she and they respected her. I mean, she demanded respect too because she was Sherylnn.
Well, she did it in such a way that you did not realize what she was doing. She has that. She would have that presence of, I'm speaking. You need to listen. And she didn't have to do it in a negative way and in an aggressive way, but it was very
loud. I never heard her raise her voice.
Right. She would not raise her voice, but she would get her point across and people would listen. Gloria, because you've seen it happen. If you had never seen it happen, you just can't imagine, that when she walks in a room that she commands that presence and she gets it easily.
It was funny to me because I was walking right there behind her.
Right.
Well, it comes to her honestly, Gloria. Here's a little, like if you know our family history, her mom was a DJ on a radio station. Her great uncle is Mal Good, who integrated network news television. My grandmother's other brother was the first Black real estate agent, having his own company in Pittsburgh. Her other uncle had a pharmacy, his own pharmacy, and so we come from that stock of being able to represent ourselves well, to know what we're talking about, to have the facts to back it up, and the understanding to impact people. And also, like, she while she commanded presence and she was going to speak, she also listened and understood where other people were coming from, so that she didn't offend someone easily. She sat down and listened to people, spent time understanding what they were talking about, so that when she did speak or did come up with a solution, everyone like kind of bought into it by the time it was done.
No, she was definitely she was a force to be. Oh, here come the oldest one. Here come the oldest one. Hey,
I'm not the oldest.
Y'all weren't on here first. Look, y'all weren't on here first. So Laurie was adopted, and you were the oldest.
Okay.
Because if
That's-
she asked
that's
who's
Mary's
the
story.
oldest, what would
That's
we have done,
Mary's
Dorothy?
story.
She asked who was the oldest.
You are.
Right.
Right. I would have been like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
You
weren't
are.
here. You weren't here.
You are.
Now, Sherylnn was a twin, right?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah,
She had
yeah.
a twin.
Oh, what
she
did
had a
her
twin
twin
brother.
do? Yeah, what did her twin do? I didn't remember what he
was
did.
a maitre d'. He was a restaurateur. So
Okay.
he was a maitre d' at restaurants and he was a maitre d'. Did he start out as a maitre d' in Chicago at the Playboy Club?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's where he
Playboy
got it.
Club.
At
Yeah,
the
in
Playboy
Chicago.
Club.
He worked with Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
And Hugh
Yeah.
was impressed with how he handled his stuff and made him the head maitre d' and took him to California with him and every place else. But yeah, he was there's some pictures out there.
Again,
he was in Ebony or Jet with the
He was in Ebony. He was in Jet.
in Jet.
He was in Ebony. I was in Jet.
Okay, he was
He
in
was
Ebony.
in Ebony.
Yeah.
But he commanded again, the stock that they came from, they had that commanding presence and that they just they were so kind and loving that when people got to know them, they loved them and they were so
And
friendly.
would do anything for
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was their friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling them, Dorothy, earlier, I was teasing because I used to tell the white people in Oak Park when they say they were diverse. I was like, yeah, y'all know Sherylnn, that's about it. Yeah.
Yes. For half the people who say
they
have one black friend, she was there.
Right.
She was
it. She was the one, and many people shared her.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I just put myself, well, see, it wasn't my fault that I just got in there because she said, come on. And so I was just like, I ain't know nobody there. So I had a new friend. And then when I found out she had a close to the same birthday, I'm like, oh, this is a good new friend. I like her. She's like me.
Yes.
But she would, it was so funny because she got me involved in so much stuff and I was just laughing. And then the one time that was the funniest to me, I found myself up on the stage being co-chair of the Exchange Congress. Now I ain't never heard of the Exchange Congress at all of my life.
Yeah.
But she had me up there with I shouldn't say the little guy. What was his name, Dorothy?
David Sokol.
No, not David Sokol. Blonde hair, short, real little guy. Okay.
Norm Teckler?
That the names are not. Those are not the names that are.
Teckler?
Huh?
Norm Teckler?
No, for the exchange.
He wasn't short.
This would have been the Exchange Congress. Short.
The Exchange.
Oh, Bill Merrill.
Bill
Merrill.
Probably.
That might be.
Gloria would have been involved in that. Yeah. Short guy, glasses, short hair. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that might have been him, but I was just like, and then we did the NAACP, everything. I'm just like, between her and Dorothy, I was doing everything. And my husband was like,
and I was so glad you came because that meant one less thing I had to do.
My husband was like, you volunteering again? I'm like, yep.
Service is the rent we pay for living on this earth. So we do what we can when we can.
I sincerely believe it. And he knew I was doing it before I ever got married. So, it's like, well, yeah.
Right.
All right. I was, because that's just, like you say, it's just what I do. So I had a thing on here. Did she have a nickname for each one of y'all? What'd she call y'all?
No.
Mary Elizabeth when she was mad.
She had a nickname, though.
I had a nickname.
No, Mommy had a nickname.
Yeah.
Sister.
Yeah.
Yep. Her twin
brother was brother.
Yeah.
Brother
and sister and brother, and then Bonnie. Her name was Yvonne, but she was Bonnie, and Franklin was Buddy.
Yeah.
So Buddy was the oldest.
For us.
Mommy was also Little D.
Yeah, when she did the radio show.
Yeah, when she did the radio show, she was Little D.
What
Because
was that nickname?
her mother was Mary D. No, I don't think mommy, like she didn't.
Neither mommy
She wanted
nor
daddy. They wanted people to call us by our
Right.
name and
Okay.
not call us by nicknames.
they
So
were
they
the
didn't-
they were a product of the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Moving away and moving into the assimilation.
Yeah.
So they have 3 white daughters, Mary Elizabeth, Dorothy Marie, and Laurie Lynn.
well, the funny
Now,
thing
we
is,
were white
though,
until we went off to school.
Yeah,
If you
but
look at
Daddy
the
wasn't
but
gonna let
you
that
two,
you're gonna
happen.
throw it all up.
but you two are named after your grandmother. So
Well, you only have
your
2
name,
grandmothers.
I know, but your names cannot be that white if you're named after your grandmother.
Well,
Well,
you're only named Lori because this is what mommy did. Daddy allowed mommy called us, me and Dorothy, with daddy at home while she was in the hospital and said, I have a little sister for you. What do you think we should name her?
I
And
said
Dorothy,
baby
you
blue.
said baby boo.
Yep.
Baby, mommy said, put your father back on the phone.
And then we asked, could you leave her at the hospital? Could you leave her there?
I'm going to mute for 1 second because Uncle Bob is calling me back. So I just want to hear what he
Okay.
says.
Okay.
Okay.
So do y'all still have the Good reunions or the Good?
Yes.
I say Good, but because I knew some Good, Goode, and that's what I called them Good. Do y'all still have the reunions?
Yes.
We do. We need to get one. With the pandemic and stuff like that. The last one we had was in Cincinnati. And
No, it was in. They went to the museum last year.
Oh,
Year
2
before that.
years before that. 2 years
Yeah.
before that, they
Mhm.
went to Montgomery, Alabama, to the museum.
Yeah.
Right. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but we have lost a lot in the since the last one. So we need to have another one.
Yeah.
Make sure we have one next summer.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we
Y'all gonna have it
we
in
can't
Chicago?
lose it.
Y'all gonna have it in Oak Park?
I doubt that.
Yeah, they did it here twice. They come here twice.
No, they've been here once.
Okay.
Okay.
We never had it in Chicago while my dad was alive because he did not want it here. That was his opportunity to
get away.
take a vacation or to send my mother on a vacation.
Okay.
So he never wanted to have it here. So 2 years after he died, we had it here for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So who's more like your mom and who's more like your dad?
In terms of what?
And just
because I think we all have little bits and pieces of both of them. Mary probably most like followed my father because Mary is a social worker. She has her MSW like my dad did.
Okay.
And I'm sure Dorothy probably would agree. Daddy would have loved to have been a lawyer. Mary has her JD, so she's got that. Dorothy does a lot of the community service stuff that that mommy did, and I raised my children like my mother raised me as a complete athlete. So complete athlete. All of my time has been spent in a gym following them, which is what my mother did with me. She was we were always at swim meets because I was a swimmer. So it was all the time I was at a swim meet. And, my mom and dad came. I know when I was in high school, my mom and dad came to every swim meet. In the summertime, my mom, they took me to all the swim meets. So I got that from them. It's just my kids didn't swim. They played basketball and baseball and football. So.
And you had
I think we got a little bit of everything from them.
All of them. Well, that's good. Yeah, that sounds like it. What's your favorite story about her that you've either heard since she passed or was always your favorite story?
I just heard one the other day that who told me on the internet, Bill Kavanaugh said mommy had brought Alma Powell here.
Yep, I remember that.
With her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess mommy went outside and who's that actor from Frasier? John Mahoney.
John
Was
Mahoney.
walking down the street because the event was at the Carlton.
Yep.
And John Mahoney was outside, and apparently mommy like said he had to come in and meet Mrs. Powell, Colin Powell's wife, and he, kind of came in, and Bill says because he knew he couldn't really say no to mom, so mommy brought John Mahoney in to meet Alma Powell after the event was over.
Who's more famous? Who's more known than the two of you? I'm telling you, you all need to meet each other.
Right. So that happened. I didn't know about that. I just learned about that, so I thought that was kind of cool.
But y'all
my personal favorite story is that my mother was super gracious and she was a great mom. Mm. And one time I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but I did something. And she said, "Go to your room." I remember that. And I went, and she went that way. Go to your room. I was supposed to go that way. She went that way. And as she walked away, I went, "Oh, no, you didn't." In the mirror that we had in our hut with my eyes closed, tongue out and everything. And then when I turned around, hovering hand right there. And that my mom had so much control that she didn't snap me. Yeah. She got here. This is as far as she got. And she saw my, the absolute, oh my gosh, what did I do in my eyes? And, get out of here. But, that just speaks, we got other spankings, but that one was like,
and the mirror came down shortly thereafter that.
What'd you say?
Yeah. The mirror came down shortly thereafter that.
But she could.
But I would remember she would be sitting there fussing at us about eating or doing our homework or something, and she would be, "You need to do this," and really into it, and the phone would ring, and she'd be like, "Hello." And I'm like, how do you just turn that off? It never happened, and the person on the other line had as if she was just sitting there patiently waiting for the phone call. Hello.
That is too funny. So was the Richland the only house y'all always lived in?
Only house.
That's
in Oak Park.
In Oak Park.
Yeah.
Because I was born in Cleveland. So we were born in Cleveland. We stayed there till I was 3. Dorothy was born in Cleveland. We moved to Detroit, and Laurie was born in Detroit. And then we moved into
I wasn't
Oak Park.
Adopted.
I know. I said you were born
in a dumpster.
We picked you up from the hospital in Detroit. And then we moved here at 69, and that's the only house we've lived in.
Okay, cool, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. 323?
North Richland.
North Richland.
Yep, North Richland.
The greenhouse.
The greenhouse
was $28,000 when they bought it.
Yeah. Wow.
And the taxes were $323.
Well, I know that's totally different now.
Now they're $333. $1,000.
Right.
The taxes may pay the water bill or something now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So one of the favorite stories that she used to tell that I liked was when she would talk about when Daddy and her were dating. And she was living in the house with her grandmother and grandfather, and they called him Pop. And Pop was a pretty religious person. She said if Jehovah's Witnesses came to the door and wanted to pray, he'd let them in. And he'd pray with them. And then as soon as they finished praying, he said, "Okay, now y'all got to pray with me." And they never came back because he kept them down longer. But they would say, he said when there was a couple of things, when Daddy would call the house, he would ask to speak to Sherylnn. And Pops would say, "I've been married to my wife for 30 years and I've never called her by her first name." So I don't think you should be calling her by her first name. That's Miss Reed or Miss Dudley.
I know that's right. All right.
And then if they were there in the house and it was time for Pop to go to sleep and he was going upstairs to go to bed, he said everybody that doesn't live here needs to go home.
Yeah.
And he go upstairs. And he give them some time to say goodbye.
Uh-huh.
Now, if they didn't leave in a timely fashion, he would drop a shoe from upstairs. So you would know, again, anybody that doesn't live here, it's time for you to go home.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
So was he the disciplinarian?
In our family,
Uh-huh.
my
Between
dad,
your dad, was he the disciplinarian?
oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Mary, you said no?
Damn.
Well, I got in more trouble than you did, so I know it different.
I would say yes. Well,
Yeah, I guess so. He lectured for me. He lectured me more than not. Like he did more lecturing than I didn't call it discipline because
yeah.
after a while I just didn't listen because
Right.
too many words.
It was that social worker kicking in.
That's too much. I mean, it was the 70s. I was growing up. It was the 70s. So African American Black men. If you've gotten to see the movie, if you got to see the movie that we about Oak Park, as time goes by, Daddy talks about, he didn't want to be the black cat that had given up on his brothers in the city, and so he was as radical as he could be.
He was emotionally torn because of his education, yet seeing the plight and dealing with the plight of the people that he had chosen to serve. There's a conflict between how do you get them to pull their bootstraps and grab themselves up.
So he still struggled with that personally, I think. And so, we were one of only Black children in Oak Park schools back then. I was like one of only Blacks at the high school in the college prep. There were Blacks at the high school, but not everybody was in the college prep level that they had at the time when I was going through. And so he had concerns about whether or not the teachers were being racist in their grading of my work and things like that. So he spent a lot of time talking about that. And I was like, I don't care. You got a B+. Like, what difference does it make? Sometimes I got an A. So what if I didn't get an A+? I didn't fail. So sometimes I was like, what are you talking about? But now when I think about it, and, we have some of his writings that I've been able to read up in the attic, I understand where he's coming from more, having a child go through the educational system myself and having those same wonderings.
Right. Yeah.
It's all perspective.
Yeah.
But the 70s were a different time than they are now. So.
Yeah.
Truly.
Well, in some instances.
In some ways, yeah. Some things are still the same. Some things are still the same.
Yeah. So same tune, just different chorus.
Yeah, but like Daddy started an organization. I have the stuff in my office. They did that African American
West Suburban Educational Cultural Foundation.
Right. West Suburban Educational Cultural Foundation for education of African Americans. So they started that. They had a Congress.
That was the precursor to Apple, if you think about it.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
And they brought this African woman here to speak. I went and looked her up again, and she's gone on to do great things. And all the people that were in that thing, a lot of them are passed away now. I looked them all up on Facebook and on the internet to see where had all those people gone. So it's kind of interesting to see that.
People like who?
Sells, Halloway. There's another guy named Halloway. I could pull all the names up for you. I got it in my bedroom right now. But a lot of them have passed away because they'd all be 85, 86, 87.
Like Clarkson, Thelma Clarkson and them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why that name sound familiar? Thelma Clarkson.
All his social work friends. They were all social worker friends.
Yeah.
So
y'all met a lot of so-called famous people, right? In between your mom's work and your dad's work.
Yeah, we met them probably when they weren't as famous, like Dorothy. getting to meet Barack Obama.
Oh yeah. That's right. That was right after your run, wasn't it, Dorothy? Or
It was during my run.
during your run. Okay, yeah. Laurie she just done went on out. She done moved around and moved around. Now she just left.
Well, she did, yeah, downstairs.
You know how those adopted children are. They disappear.
She moved away from her internet source. That's what happened.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's what she did. So,
You know, my Uncle Mal was I think he's in the Newscasters Hall of Fame. So and also
So is Grandma. Radio Announcers Hall of Fame.
she's in there too, but Uncle Mal's someplace. He was on a calendar for Anheuser-Busch. So I got to go when they unveiled that calendar and got to meet a lot of news people that way. So we have got to be in the presence of like lots of interesting people.
He took his car because he said he didn't have
So
to take anybody.
one of the things that I was going to ask, and I can't believe the time is gone. It's just moving on. Do you think it's anything that she wanted to do that she didn't get to do?
Yeah, she wanted to write a book.
So who's
Dorothy,
working
did
on
we
that?
Yeah. She talked about writing a book.
She wanted to write a book.
She talked about writing a book. We gave her a tape recorder, told her to record the stuff. She didn't record a thing. She talked about wanting to write a book. She didn't want to write no book.
She wanted to write about her mom. I probably will try to pick that up somehow.
So somebody got to get to write. Look,
Yeah,
I
probably will do that one.
Okay, yeah, I'll get it, but I can't write it because y'all got all that information. So, and y'all are having a thing on the 24th. And see, I'm coming this weekend I was hoping they were going to be on the same weekend. Gail Day is retiring from youth guidance. And so she's having a thing and I was hoping it was going to be the same weekend. But when I do come this weekend, Dorothy, I want to go to see her place of rest.
Her place of rest is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, she's buried in Pittsburgh with my dad. So so what you could do is you could go to her tree in Lindbergh Park. That's where we go. That's where we go.
They both wanted to be buried in Pittsburgh. So
yeah,
we took her home.
They buried her, but she planted a tree. Remember when she retired?
Yeah.
When she retired in 1999, they planted a tree in Lindbergh Park, and it was just a very small tree.
And now it's
28 years later, it is the hugest tree in the park. And
really?
You can stand with your back. I stand with it with my back against it and look up and just feel like mommy has my back.
Wow.
So that's
definitely.
And the tree is a twin.
Yeah, it's split into a twin.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna show you. Hold on, I have a picture of it. I'm gonna show it to you in just a minute.
Yeah. So from now on, I feel super grounded when I hit that space. If I go to Oak Park, I won't. If we sell the house and we don't have a place to go in Oak Park again, I will always go to Oak Park and go to Lindbergh Park now and just stand at the tree.
Wow.
It has a little plaque and says her name and stuff like that. So you can find it.
I definitely go. Yeah.
So that's definitely.
Yeah. Oh wow! Look at that. Also,
that doesn't no justice.
No, it doesn't. But it's split up. Like when we walked away, we were there, and when we walked away and looked back, I was like, "Wait, that's a double tree."
It's a double tree.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember I was there when she retired.
Yes.
So wow, that is. Well, later
we are gonna. It is gonna be live streamed on YouTube. We just found out. So excited!
Okay,
it will be live streamed on YouTube. So we'll let everybody. We'll get that information, Dorothy. Right? We'll have that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all have my number and stuff. It was on the email, so plug it into your phone. Look.
All righty. Hey, do you see Shirley Hopkins out there?
In Dallas?
I thought she went back to Texas. I don't know what part of Texas.
Did she? I haven't heard or seen. I'll have to look her up, but I haven't.
Lori said her Wi-Fi is acting up, but
Oh,
you know
well,
how that goes, Gloria.
I totally understand. Yes, well, I always pray for my guests before they go.
Thank
Y'all have
you.
any closing words about your mommy?
Thank you so much. Do we have closing words, Dorothy? Should we read those?
Oh, okay.
I got it.
I got it too.
Okay.
Okay.
I
We
think
can do each one. You'd want to do one and I do one?
so. Her name was Sherylnn. And so S is for the service that she gave to the community.
H is for her heart.
I is for her eyes that failed her, but still she could see.
Reed is the name that she chose to take.
And L is for the love that she gave.
Y is for her young in spirit, her youth in spirit.
N was because she was nice to everyone.
Hmm.
And the
And
last
the second
N
N
is she's never forgotten.
Oh, well, yes. No, she's never forgotten. Definitely not by me. So no. That is so cute. That is so cool. Like I say, I know she's smiling. So let me just offer this prayer for y'all. Father, I just thank you, man. I thank you for the life of Sherylnn first, God. I thank you for all the things that she's meant to me, and you got definitely her daughters and the legacy that she leaves with them and the grandsons and just her family, Father, because I know she was important to the family as a whole and not just the immediate girls and grandsons, Father. But God, I thank you and I just praise you for all the work that she's done for the good of this nation, for the good of Oak Park. And Lord, I just ask that you bless each one of the daughters, Mary, Lori, and Dorothy, and whatever they choose to do to continue to honor their mother. And Father, just bless them that everything that they do, regardless, will be blessed. And we'll give you all the glory and honor. And just thank you for this time to even just talk about Sherylnn and reminisce about her again and just laugh about a wonderful, phenomenal woman that we all love. So I thank you for her life. I thank you what she's given to all of us, and we just give you glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And everybody, thank you for listening. Next week we'll have in August. She's a young lady in public transportation, that industry that I used to be in, and we're going to talk about women in transportation, in the transportation industry, in that male dominated industry. So y'all join us next week, and thank you for being here. Love y'all.
Love you.
Y'all be good.
Miss you.
Bye.
I know, miss y'all too.
See you next week though.
Okay,
Don't forget to call when you get here.
text me your number, okay?
All
You
right.
just called the house. The number didn't change.
Oh, the house is, you're at the house, Dorothy?
No, but we'll get
I'll text you my number.
Okay.
It didn't change either, so.
Wait, let me end this and we can talk, because they don't want